his Sova. That doesn't stop anything for Bren. They're just going to charge right on through. Dubstep, I believe, does have a TP. No, he does not. He's just going to be caught in the back of the side. Good damage, but Symbol, because he does have that extra shield, will be able to absorb and clear out the back of things. B main, Hot Sauce healing some nutties with the classic, and now Wits, 1 versus 4. He knows now that 1 is into B main, but his Cloudburst used against him, taken down, and okay. Just a bit of a hiccup there, but it will still be Bren to pick up the first round. Okay. All right. All right. Are you there? Can you give us a sign? Can you?
Come into
Okay.
the unknown.
So Raph is not on the thingamabob yet. On the
Yes,
microphone.
I am. Yes, I am.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give us a sign?
If you can see me wave my hands, I'm pretty sure you can. But hello again, folks. Yes, thank you for holding down the fort, Asterai, as I heard you ridicule me and my ineptness in technology, apparently. But Bren, they take the first round. A head start for our young guns, or at least relatively young guns. As we see Secret, they do mount an aggressive push towards A main here, but the power of the Spectres are a little too much to overcome for them. We do see EJ take space, but will also cost him his life, as Wits will get a bit of a freebie when it comes to the classic. Jesse Vash, thinking about it, wants to do some work with his shorty, but so far, none of the players on Bren are really giving him any space to do so. Dubstep slowly crawling up towards heaven. Might have a bit of an angle here, but Brain Freeze, he feels that something evil is afoot. As Dubstep preps his teleport, could potentially find one if Xavi doesn't time this properly. Xavi's ready to flash, ready to rock and roll, but the teleport by Dubstep, very, very well timed and very well foreseen.
Oh, this is going to be a one-way smoke on door, so Vash, if he pushes through this... Actually, I think he was spotted already. They saw where his legs was. Tries to push on through. Maybe Vash will be able to reciprocate in time. Not going to happen. Dubstep with 1 HP.
Oh!
But it don't matter, no, because he got that Headhunter. It's an okay round for Team Secret, but Bren really loved that defense, that holding hands that they did on A main, where I think Team Secret wanted to peek out already, and then Symbol and EJ, I believe, was just able to swing out and get a couple of kills. Really good flip there from Wits just to make it just a tad bit better for Team Secret. Overall, solid buy round for BREN Esports.
Yeah, they'll be working on quite a bit of guns here, and we'll have a bit of a bank to fall back on. As we mentioned, right? Actually, no, something that I want to be curious about is we've talked about how consistent Jesse has been on his Sova, but everything else has been a little spotty. Maybe this is yet another sign that he might have a bit of a slow game just because he's not on his signature agent, but Dispenser couldn't really find a target he could prioritize. As both of those players peeked out at the same time, Borkum will retaliate with a paranoia of his own. He has forced himself, or rather has been forced, to hold down Tree. Brent is trying to set up a crossfire to double swing, but the timing isn't there. Borkum punishes it. He gets a quick double. He will get tagged up. One hit is all it takes, and he could potentially just flounder. But somehow, some way, he's still surviving for as long as he can. The Nanoswarm is being invested. Look at this, Asterai. Brent still have not found the lurking Borkum. Hot Sauce may have seen the very edge of that barrel, but instead it's Wits to pay for the sins of Borkum, who eventually falls.
Oh my goodness. This is kind of interesting. I thought they already saw Hot Sauce, and then somehow Wits just not really guessing exactly where this was. Now this turns into a round where Brent can really do some damage. 2 versus 2. Hot Sauce comes in for the swing, but Dubstep very fast.
Wow.
On the punish. I don't think he knows Symbol is right here, but he's looking at the right direction. The timing is going to be crucial close. Excuse me. 1 versus 1. And now Vash has the weapon advantage, as well as a spike being dropped down on a short.
Scanning ahead.
Symbol will not have enough time. I don't think, does he have enough to actually go still for B to pick this up? No, he has to go straight to A. Yeah, and Vash just capitalizes on the timer pressuring his opponent. Unfortunate for Bren there.
I love that choice. I honestly thought Jesse might have gone for a more direct fight. Maybe positioning himself closer to the cubby there, to the wall. which is affectionately called hot dog, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of those things where you hear it once and it just sticks with you forever.
Spike down mid.
As I mentioned, I wonder what the conscious choice was to put Jesse on that fade. Maybe it's Jesse wants to adjust, but we've seen his Sova perform on this map many times. It's very peculiar if you're looking at a historical standpoint. But Jesse nearly gets the frag on that swing. Unfortunately for him, Bren's a little too quick. Wit's trying to make work with a Guardian, with a limited weaponry, but with that rate of fire suffering, it's not going to be able to hold down the fort for Dubstep to be safe. Symbol finds him, and now Bren have the sights.
Spike.
I really wanted some aggression with the fade, but unfortunately, Witz has the headshot angle, but recoil is not to his helping there. They are able to actually confine the rest of Bren at the back of the site. This is absolutely perfect. No flash or no blitz would be heard, would be hit.
One enemy
B main
remaining.
being flushed out, but that's not the angle where they were going to be coming from. I don't know if Vash knows that Brain Freeze is the back of the site, and Freeze, all he really has to do is just wait for Vash to drop down. He will hear this. If you pop a shot, that's still... Yeah, he knows he's there. There it is. That's the hit on the cross. And Bren again, solid round on the attack.
Secret fumbling a little bit at the start here, having a slow start, potentially mimicking a diesel engine. Maybe it's the comfort pick. Maybe it's the lack of range that Fade really suffers when it comes to being an initiator. Still almost a very clean retake. Fairly expensive on the side of Bren. But since they haven't really lost that many rounds, they're going to fall back on such needed weaponry still. Meanwhile, Secret, it's the opposite. They're suffering from a light buy. The question is, what do they want to do? They've been trying to aggress on all these side lanes, but have been punished by Bren. They've been very patient, at least on the side of Bren. Secret, with whatever pistols they have, they try to make the most out of the situation. We hear a bit of a blind ult coming from Symbol. But as I mentioned, it's completely blind and doesn't hit anything. Woods hasn't been discovered. That fragment is going to block off Heaven just for the moment at the very least. But this crossfire, can it really do? Bren still not overplaying their hand. EJ even dashes away for safety for good measure.
They can re-hit the site if they wanted to be honest, because Hot Sauce still does have his lockdown. There is a lot more ultimates expended by Bren, but ultimately, yeah, there it is. They're going to hit the site. Morgan has already given away his position. He actually dropped down already. He might be able to try to step back up again once there, but the thing is the radius of the lockdown doesn't really allow him to go into that position sneakily unpunished. Now here comes the hit. Witz is just hiding somewhere beneath on Hell. Goes plays around in the corner. Actually, might be able to pick up a couple of kills. Beautiful. Now he has to plays if need be. There's the hit shot. Okay. Lots of really strong ultimates and sneaky plays working in their favor. Brain Freeze, or Savvy into the corner, excuse me. Witz now starting to defuse the spike. Witz trying to run away. Half on it already. They know where he is. Brain Freeze in positions. 2 versus 1. 1 versus 2. This is going to be absolutely crucial, but he does not hit it in the nick of time. And Bren still manages to squeeze one in.
Squeeze one in is very, very apt. That was a dangerously close round for Bren. The eco damage that Secret wanted to inflict was felt, it was dealt. I love this heads up play by Witz. I'm not entirely sure why he decided to dash in Hell. Maybe it's for that extra bit of cover, but he did have a Vandal at his feet available, and he may have held that single box for an extra bit of time. But the discipline by Xavi and Brain Freeze has been so important for Bren. They've been the last 2 members alive, at least these last 5 rounds. Now we have a bit of a default on the side of Secret again. They've tried pushing, didn't work out too well. They tried holding down the line and worked a little better, but this time they had stifled weapons. Now we have an equal round. We have equal guns. And Jesse Vash still trying to support Dubstep here, who is on a fairly aggressive position. Bren, do they anticipate this? They've been doing this so much, right? They just hold out on lobby on both sides.
Wow.
Just immediately leaves.
That was pretty fast from him, though. Spots out Vash at the back of the site already. This is going to be terrible as EJ... Oh, he knows the TP. He spotted out Dubstep already. He's committing to the fight. Ooh. Right click. Straight to the cranium. Witz is here. Now, he's got to have to deal with EJ at the back because the pinch is going to be strong from the attacking team of Bren. Hot Sauce goes in, but it seems like this double up, this fake away, this fake I'm going to retract my statement. This fake play from BREN just crumbling at the seams, Raph. EJ opened up the B side and nobody was there to follow up on him. It was a big brain play that started to crumble as soon as Borkum was able to sniff out the rotation from the rest of BREN.
30 seconds
Now
left.
EJ, 28 seconds. He's going to have to flush out a couple of corners here with the one-way smoke. This makes it very difficult for him, and they can hear him jumping up and down. Now, Dispenser and Borkum, all they need now is a little bit more information, just a little bit more noise, and now they know.
Next time,
there he
run the
is.
heavy machinery.
Recovery is the name of the game for Team Secret here, as once again, they did stave off that fake. Maybe BREN finally overplayed, because sometimes you just kind of have to play to your strengths. You know how there's always that call where, hey, let's just keep doing the same thing up until it doesn't work. And I honestly thought they would have rotated towards B just because they already had the openings and they had the control, but Borkum was oh so steadfast, refused
Spike
to
down.
let that one go. This might still be a gun round on both sides. Actually, no, BREN, they decide to go for a save and have a bulkier bank for the future. It's EJ, who's opened this side before, replicates, or at least attempts to replicate the success. Dubstep gets the first shot, but the last will eventually go to EJ. The Spectre has been so lethal and so fatal. The rest of his team's trying to flood in, but Wits, he's in locked. Nobody knows. Now they do, but a little too late as everybody falls. And BREN, barely any damage here. They did eliminate Dubstep from contention, but they could have wanted more. If they get one more pick, then it's pretty much a good round for them. The lead may be diminishing, or at least depleting very slowly. But for the long run, a long way to go. Xavi's gonna tagged up, and Brain Freeze actually wades into that at the very last second.
remaining.
Wits nearly becomes a victim of timing, but chooses not to. Xavi, very wary of that flag, but that's also something that Secret haven't done. They really haven't choked up the rotation points on the attacking side. Maybe they're gonna do that just now as they take another round.
I think this was what was missing from Team Secret the past couple of rounds, is that since the Fade was selected by Bash and not the Sova, they really can't take a... They could, but I think they might not be as optimal if they took a more passive route of defense or don't have that crossfire to kind of utilize the more aggressive nature of the Fade. And we kind of see that there, and it does disrupt somewhat the offense of BREN. With all of that being mentioned, though, I mean, it still was just a weak buy for BREN. And that was because Team Secret just were making such expensive margins for BREN to kind of just keep purchasing, because they keep losing like 4 players per round. So that was really good for Team Secret to have done. Now BREN, they only still do have that 1 round advantage. Dubstep was so close to being knocked off. Another wallbang might actually caught them off guard. We'll see if that happens.
Looks like Jesse's preparing the Nightfall here, but making... Oh, there it goes. The choice has been made. The Sounds are going to be eliminated from contention, for at least on the side of BREN, but they hold strong. Make this an even trade on both sides. Map control still very much in the favor of Secret, as that bolt is going to delay the push from Tree. Symbol has not been discovered yet. Exits Rosa, tries to make his way towards B lobby. Jesse could lose this fight, but she chooses... Nope, Raph, you are wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Hot Sauce tried to lurk, try to creep in, try to back up Brain Freeze. And now Freeze, he's gonna get caught by the leash. He has nowhere to go, but Symbol has been left undiscovered. He has the timing. Could the patience pay off? No, it doesn't. Dispenser finds him. Freeze has clutched, or at least try to hold off for the rest of his team. But this could not be the case, as Dispenser swings from lane and finds a second frag or third frag for himself. And Secret, as quickly as they lost 4 rounds, they get it back.
And, yeah, just a mistime push there from Freeze. Maybe not a mistime, but just a mismanage of targets. Because he was looking at both of them. I think he maybe second-guessed for a split second that they were not able to spot him. They were about to swing hard on backup side. That might have given him the trigger discipline moment to hit 2 shots against
1
for free.
enemy remaining.
We'll probably see that just a bit right here. It doesn't really show in the highlights, but yeah, I think there was a fraction of a second that they weren't looking where he was, and he was also second guessing. Maybe I wait off just a teeny tiny bit so I can make sure I can hit those 2 shots, and then he's in that awkward spot where he hits neither.
Oh yeah,
Almost
and
neither. Yeah.
it's a choice that has to be made. And obviously, hindsight is 2020. Just to remind everybody out there who's probably gonna cry in chat, whatever. Hot sauce though will have no tears whatsoever, and will actually poke Wits in the eye with that beautiful sheriff shot. Now he opens the sight. Secret, they make a mad scramble, but Hot Sauce tries to play a forward position, but potentially a victim of overheat. Jesse has recontrolled the site, at least momentarily, but Dispenser is making sure that Brain Freeze has to worry about all corners and everywhere as he tries to go for a multi-angled attack. Look at Secret's defensive lineup layout right now. Dispenser is on the opposite side of the world, and Borkum can't really trade for him. Freeze does not want to deal with anybody trying to walk into market, but Dispenser may have found the timing here. He does have the null command, and 8 seconds left for the data for the 0 points. Ooh, Brain Freeze, just a little too quick. He could potentially swing, but the patience, it is key, it is king. Dispenser finds his fellow robot, and Brain Freeze, with his 6-shooter, finds a 3rd.
I thought it was like a delay smoke from Borkum on their own spawn, but that was actually Brain Freeze. I like that because he was already betting on the fact that his teammate would have tagged, who was it, Dispenser with the Sova drone. So being through the smoke actually just makes it even more deadly because he can't really Dispenser can't really retaliate. If he gets tagged, he's basically shot through the smoke of Brain Freeze. So really good stuff there. What was kind of curious for me was Borkum that's not committing the smoke anymore on spawn because he knew that Brain Freeze was there. They might have been able to just force him to peek out, and they still had the null command to make things a little bit more aggressive. Maybe just Dispenser just had like expired information of where
You should run.
Of where Brain Freeze was, but regardless, that was pretty good from BREN. Wow, indeed.
That's why they play the KO. That's why they run the KO. Speaking of initiators, Dubstep, he does put himself, in the position beside this canoe. As he decides, you know what, I've had enough boating for this map, or at least for that moment. He does go for a bit of a lane hold here. One of those types of angles that are one and done. Anywho, do you think potentially teams would run a triple initiator comp on this map? I mean, we know the importance of Jet and immediate space taking, but could you imagine KO, Fade, and Sova potentially? But EJ, just too many targets on the side of Wits and punishes him correctly. Spencer finds Symbol. Dubstep is here, picks up that high caliber rifle and makes so much work out of it already before falling to Hot Sauce. Jesse Vash still ducking and weaving towards CT. Dispenser times the flash. Brain Freeze cannot push forward. The Prowler is there too, just to delay him a little bit more. Even though the rest of his team are on site, he's the man. He has to be on the site. He has to plant. But Borkum, his own senses are tingling, and he found his counterpart in that smoke. Tied up once more is Secret and BREN.
Wow, just I don't know. There's something about the spawn entryway for defenders that just nets a kill that ruins the whole tempo. Look at that. Fragment used just to destroy a lockdown. That is, what now, 7, 8 charges? Pretty dang hurtful, especially when they wanted to use that as a straight shot way onto the B side. That definitely hurt, I think, the plans for BREN. Everything turned very topsy-turvy and everything. And honestly, Dispenser, he's back on track, man. I was mentioning this, I think, last week before we went on 2-day break, that Dispenser has got to be one of the players for Team Secret that I didn't feel was as impactful or as influential as he was before, especially during the early days back in like 2020 or 2021. This time, there's just something different. I don't know what Fate is doing. Their coach, not the agent, but these guys are just looking so far on point.
You could say that Fate is a bit of a fountain of youth for them, as they've had a sharper step ever since Coach Fate stepped into the scene. Dispenser, like you mentioned, again, we keep going back to stage 1. That's really been our biggest reference point for Secret, because that's where we saw their vulnerability.
Yeah.
This time around, the refinement, the well-oiled machine that is this team has really proven to return to rise up again. Wits, despite the smoke, is thinking about it. The body language is telling everybody that, hey man, I want to op here. Your smoke? It is but a ruse. A false blanket of security for you. It's the lurking up. He finds Symbol. Tries to make a mad dash
wow.
out of it, but look at this. Dubstep is still here. The jump spot. Dubstep a little more wary towards tiles now. Wits may relay the information that he has it. This time around, it could potentially be Dubstep to push the smoke. Who knows? Instead, he chooses not to. Just fires off a warning shot. EJ has been very proficient with these blades so far. Wants to lead the charge. Hot Sauce already creating a safety net, a safety space to counter the aggression from Tree. But this default is still ongoing. Not much room has been given by Secret, and not much map control has been taken by BREN.
Speaking of BREN, here they are. But I do like the slow, methodical approach that they are doing. There's a bit of a constellation on A short. Dubstep doesn't know this. He's going to be showing up his long barrel.
30 seconds left.
And Hot Sauce spots it, punishes it even. And because he's knocked off, the trademark falls. And this makes everybody from Team Secret second guess. Are they pushing through mid? Are they going to go through B? This splits up the rest of them apart. Dispenser, beautiful on the flash, the timing. You know what he is. He's the CSGO pro. He's got the CSGO flashes. Let's make it happen. EJ, though, very quick on the charge with 9 seconds on the beat. He's got to go in hard and fast now. He's going to start to just plant the spike. Oh no, EJ's alone. He's going to have to fight this one, but Wits comes in out of nowhere, blindsides him, hits him with the blades, and Team Secret finally get an
Last
advantage.
round in the half.
Going in hard and fast. Really going through the motions, trying to penetrate that defense. It was not meant to be. I love the off timing by Wits here. Again, they're looking to thrust their momentum into space, right? But sometimes slow is the way to go. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. That's the approach by Secret. They've realized that, hey man, maybe that's not our problem at the moment. Let's just not be too aggressive in this part of the map, etc., etc. And they've been succeeding with hints of aggression, just like this with Dubstep, and just like how Wits pulled it off towards A short. This time around, BREN, they relegate their efforts to holding down the lobby of B, as they've done in the past, they've done previously, but all that information is gonna be given away. You still see how patient Secret are. They really are not flinching despite knowing what BREN's up to. Xavi does have a flash prep. Wit still has a dash too, but can't burn it in time. Dubstep, the mobility is there, it's very much present. Avoids the shock dart, but cannot avoid the paranoia. Chooses not to stay. Ooh. Yet another attack towards B, Aserai.
That's still not a bad thing, though, because even though he got baited to, or forced to use his rendezvous, they still baited EJ to use his dash, as he saw as he broke the trademark. So this is one crucial ability that stops him from getting into the site. And look at the crossfire from BREN. This is going to be horrendous for EJ if he tries to go in at this by himself. That's why you're seeing the rest of BREN just reposition, because they don't really have that snappy play that gets them into the site anymore. You're going to have to try to reposition. And, of course, they're still very much afraid of Wits having that operator in hand. Hot Sauce will still have to manage this trademark. But I think they're going to force the issue, on this one. Wits misses the flick. He will try to reposition, re-peek the angle. But EJ loves to use onto the cloud burst. I don't think that nobody knows about where he was. He does get the punish on the dubstep, but again, 10 seconds. BREN is really buying on the clock here. This is not what he wanted to happen. This is not what he wanted to transpire. And Jesse Bash still in the back of the site. Oh my God! Look at that through the box shot from Jesse Bash, just denying any form of plantation from BREN. Take that, why don't you?
And he took it on the chin like a champ. BREN tried to recover from this. It is the second half, so it is a new life for them. A new start. They start off fairly strong, Aserai, so they could potentially take the pistol out again. Wits is pulled here towards backside. It's the craziest thing. His operator has been so sharp today, and he's been fearless. It's been doing wonders for Secret, giving them so much space. And this halftime pause could be one of those things where BREN's like, hey, what are we doing? What happened there? And how do we assess Secret, how they're going to approach this? Like we mentioned, they don't have the Vash. So maybe their potentials for faking sights, faking hits, it's not going to be as high. They don't have that deep clearance that, once again, a Sova can provide. They don't have that, the info drone, the owl drone. They do have a prowler. Once again, the range is really just not as robust.
Wait a minute. Okay.
I think I left my... Okay.
Okay, I had a point about this. Since they do not have that Sova, and all of the things you said, I definitely agree with, especially the recon dart, because it does have such a big radius. They still do have the haunt as well as the KO knife, the null blade. So if they do have those hashtag, panel fluffy O2 lineups with the haunt on Ascent that you can actually see on YouTube right now with 100,000 views. So shout out to Fluffy,
Oh yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Did you know he's 5'11"?
Yeah, exactly. And he studied at what's the school again?
You'll find out. Just say
You'll
hello
find
to
out.
Fluffy. He'll tell
Yeah.
you everything. Fluffy knows everything. Hey Fluff, where did I leave my keys? Oh, it's probably in your back pocket.
Yeah, but anyways, back to my
Mhm.
point before the round starts, right?
Uh-huh.
They do have lineups for it, so you can have that. I'll say like Recon Dark-esque effect if you can place the haunt properly and then flush out a certain angle with the KO blade. Of course, that's not the biggest thing about it. It's the ability to also nullify abilities on your opponents. But other than that, I think it still does answer somewhat what now that we don't have a Recon Dark. At least they do have those two abilities to kind of mimic the Recon Dark.
I have to say though, I feel like Secret's retake, which has always been historically strong, could potentially be even stronger with a Fade. Fade just excels at that, and Wits doing what Wits does, tagging up Xavi. And now the aggression, it seems that it is in spades on the side of Bren. EJ preps the dash, could potentially find one, but instead he is the one to get found. And Dubstep
They were
has
so
been
ready.
so sharp. Exactly, he's been so ready. Now he's left that ghost at their front doorstep, which is never a good thing here. Bren, they have to work with a deficit. They have to leave a lane open. One of those rotations are going to be much more perilous than the other. And that's only a byproduct of that early aggression. Look at Xavi, too. Look how low he is. He's but a gentle breeze away from toppling over.
I was gonna say something about gentle breezes, but yeah, no.
It's pretty stormy. I think the storm season is coming in for us, folks
true.
over at PH. So
And,
get your parkas and jackets ready.
Speaking of a brewing storm, we'll see if
30
Ace Side
seconds
is gonna be hit by this chain of events. Brain Freeze has been spotted backing away. Borkum just creating a bit more vacuum towards Ace Short. Lovely use onto the C's.
no.
Savvy can't really push up because
Spike
he's 1
planted.
HP. And now the plant on the spike and the force of Bren get into the site itself. They do have Brain Freeze, which is good. So he can always smoke A main and allow the split of the team's secret roster. Back is taking some nasty damage. He wasn't really cleared out properly. This is absolutely huge for him. Does get knocked off already, but still, this is somewhat manageable for Bren. That being said, good shots from Hot Sauce and Brain Freeze. Still not the end of things. Borkum coming in for the pinch. Good shots from Hot
dear.
Sauce. He is making this super, super manageable. And now they know they've been separated. Borkum got to work quick to at least break the wall.
One
break
enemy
the
remaining. Last player
door, excuse me.
standing.
Charges right up. Half on the spike. 2 HP. And Borkum clutches the round for Team Secret. So close, yet so far away. And Bren almost had it. He had 8 HP. The other guy had 2 HP. It was just a minuscule difference.
Borkum proving to be a Lion Slayer, taking that black and gold main for himself as he tears down the walls of Jericho, not allowing Brent to make a fortress for themselves. This looked really good for a minute here for Brent. I really thought they had a positional advantage considering Dispenser already
Player
expended
standing.
his fragment.
One enemy
But
remaining.
with the savvy on the side of Secret, the adjective, not the player, and the veteranship just proves to be a little too much to handle for a younger squad here. This time around, they do have to resort to a much more passive default. The aggression cost them, and even being passive has cost them just that extra player that could have helped. They have the info that somebody's waiting, but Xavi cannot contain himself. Witch will do that for him. And now Bren are all alone in their respective holds here, forced to make a decision, be at a crossroads, as Hot Sauce has decided to hold towards mid here. Aster, I'm not entirely sure how they're gonna take back the momentum here, because I feel like in that round they wanted that early info. But EJ, even though he had the dash prepped, the read was there on the side of Secret here. And now they have a site, pretty much a free site. They haven't even given up any weaponry whatsoever to Brent.
I really like that paranoia that Borkum throws out, where it hits the switch and then the B stairs. Really strong. Anyway, Wits I think this is going to be farming unit
Enemy
for him.
remaining.
If he gets the 180 shot on Brain Freeze, that would be massive. At least, just to clear up the entirety of the round already. This does give Brain Freeze a little bit of time to fight. He tries to reposition, but gets shot mid-air by Bash through the Marshall.
That's so
Team
expensive.
Secret.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
the Spectre? Just the one
No,
Spectre?
on the side of Freeze, because he has to rebuy all his utility now.
Oh, yeah, Omen
It's
got a little
fine.
bit more expensive too. That's true.
It's fine. He still has full armor and his full utility belt, so maybe it wasn't that expensive. My math was once again very inaccurate.
One enemy.
So here, just a quick look on how they surgically separated Bren. I'm not entirely sure what Bren want to do here now. Do they want to go for a full retake style now that they have the weapon advantage? They have the range, so they can definitely hit quite a few pot shots. Do they want to go for that early aggression and not allow Secret to walk up and use the SMGs as I've mentioned? Or do we look at this timeout and assume all the assumptions? I've never seen that painting, by the way. I don't even know where this part of the map is. Is that a billboard? I don't
This
know.
is outside B. Yeah,
Huh,
near
maybe I should
newsstand.
look up more often, yeah.
Yeah. Well, chin up, King.
Are you gonna give a shout out to all the queens out there again, Asarai? Is that what you want to do? Is that what you're gonna do?
I'm gonna give a shout out to all the Kings this time.
All right, that's right.
Yeah,
Head up,
yeah,
boys.
that's
And
Chin
this
up, Kings.
is. Oh yeah, man! Don't drop that crown. As
Oh,
Brandon,
I do have one question though. Sorry.
What's up? Go ahead.
Do you think there is the emo comp that is a possibility now in Valorant?
Like super edgy comp.
Yeah, Omen, Reyna, Fade. I don't know what the other two would be, but that's like your core. And speaking of core, this is going to be a core memory for Team Secret if they get this site so cleanly
Oh,
as the
dear.
Prowlers just go into the site, and gashing and just biting at the defense of Bren, dismantled already, leaving it only to Hot Sauce's symbol
Spike
to try to
planted.
even salvage the situation. This is a buy run for them, by the way.
Player
And
remaining.
Hot Sauce, he's heard it already, but Wits just cannot be denied right now. Okay, everybody's gonna say beaking symbol. If they die, okay.
I'm not-
I was gonna say
I'm
if they
not
don't die to symbol,
entirely-
this is gonna be bad.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the game plan was there earlier towards main. We saw EJ try to fall back to side as quickly as he can, but we didn't see the flash or any supportive utility on his head. So maybe they were gonna go for a surprise contact play. But Bren, they just W keyed that one. Took as much space as they needed. Even got free upgrades for their troubles. Bren, they have to resort to an eco. Yet another eco. There we go. He tries to
One
backpedal.
enemy remaining.
Supportive utility was just not there for Bren. It was completely absent.
And this is what I was talking about. Well, meme aside about the emo comp. This comp really does constrict a lot of what you want to do. Paranoia, and you're nearsighted. Haunt, you're also nearsighted. Seize, you can't get away from Punish, and makes it very easy to get blasted apart by even just the weaker of weapons like a Spectre, right? So there is so much choking power
There.
that Team Secret does have, and it is squeezing the life out of Bren in these sites.
Squeezing the life out of their sight. Exactly. Just a bit of a vice grip that Brent have not managed to escape whatsoever. Even just loosening that grip has been such a challenge for them. Now, Secret, they shuffle up the rhythm again. They slow it down. They still not give up any map control. Maybe potentially putting Bren in a much more, how to put this, uncommitted positioning where they have, as we mentioned, Zavi towards a tree here. We do have Brain Freeze deep into the site, but
Ooh.
oh wow, Jesse just kind of boom, he's dead. Hot Sauce did a Jesse Bash impression there too. He's dead. And now we have a bit of a 4v4 situation
30
that
seconds
Secret
left.
still have a bit of an upper hand. Borkum tries to fake it. Did EJ hear it? But EJ goes for green instead. Did he bamboozle his own teammates? How did that only do 20 damage? That's insane. The shorty is such a fickle weapon, but the dispenser is not loyal to his
enemy
aim,
remaining.
loyal to his clutch genes. As Wits cleans up, or at least attempting to clean up the round, Brain Freeze, who's been the last member alive these past few rounds, he's clutched very well, and he's held on. But Secret, kind of running this into the ground, kind of running it up as well. Ow.
Yeah. Okay, good shot from Brain Freeze to reposition. I don't know if he actually knows that the dispenser is just so close on the swing. He's gonna TP now. They're not gonna be able to hear it, and he swings by almost, threading a needle. I think the second guess, he just like flicked it in. Where is he? Maybe still inside the smoke. It was a 2 versus 1, but that was so close. Brain Freeze, you gotta give him that shot, but Team Secret just always on the job here, always getting those ROIs.
I like lions. This is a very cool lion, Nero. And speaking of keeping it cool, and much like a lion, BREN have to keep their heads up here. As you mentioned, they kind of have to not allow that crown to fall, because BREN has been somewhat notorious of dropping. Once they start hitting that low point, it just becomes a very heavy anchor in the most negative sense. And it's growing pains for them. They're so used to excellence. They're so used to their meticulous play. Sometimes it's a bit of a pitfall on their side. EJ, despite not using that dash immediately, still manages to survive. The utility is here, and it might stop Secret. EJ double dips, hits Wits, removes his fellow Jet counterpart, but that trail is going to give quite a bit of information away. Salvage is the name of the game for Secret here, as they do not have that coveted control with Borkum. Nope, it is not meant to be. As Zavi, firing on all cylinders now, holds down the line for his team, and EJ even gets a third on a swinging dispenser. Jesse, this is a tall order, but Jesse is no stranger to the clutch. He marches forward. He will get tagged out. He might get sprayed down here. Finds a little bit of solace on his box. He even finds Raid Freeze. Hot sauce. Ice and fire work in tandem to seal another round on BREN, but Jesse, you know that man is ice cold. Gotta be very wary. BREN come alive, finding a 6th round for themselves.
During our break, you know, when we were talking about that Oasis Gaming Alpha Esports match, you know, prepping also for this Team Secret BREN fight, I also wanted to just mention how this is one of the most consistent, or if not most consistent, most dominant we've seen Jesse Bash in. He's usually just been, you know, clutch Jesse, gets kills with the Hunter's Fury Jesse. He's always the one with the nice little lineups. But his IQ in positioning and in these fights have been absolutely beautiful, Raph. I mean, if he maybe had a bit more leeway there, he might have been able to get the 4K in a possible clutch. But yeah, just really good performance out. But still, BREN do get the round. It's a nice round for them. Definitely ridden from the coattails of the operator buy from EJ. But there is so many rounds that they need to bring back, since, again, it is 11-6.
Yes. That's like at least 5. Actually, no, it is 5 rounds that they have to win just to equalize. And I want to go through the map selection before anything happens here. We're going to have a little bit of an innocuous period, as Secret love to go for that slower default when it comes to penultimate rounds like this. But let's take a look back at the map draft, Astra. I'm not entirely sure what map 2 is. Do refresh my memory once more, please.
Watching here.
Yes.
I think it's Breeze and then Haven.
So with that being said, we have quite a bit of firepower on both sides. And what is that timing? Speaking of firepower, Wits has been so consistent on the maps that we mentioned. He's been very consistent here too, but it does look like his life might be, or at least it looked like it was gonna go for a close on this very round. But wait a minute, he's not done yet. He finds EJ, will find his own death. Hot sauce sears Borkum, and now Secret functioning without a controller. This is, I feel like, one thing that they have so much trouble with when they don't have that smokes up, or at least really when it comes to any team, when they don't have that the smoker up, the retake just becomes that much more shaky. Now we have some of these players shoulder to shoulder, back to back. Dispenser finds the crouching robot form of Zavi.
Find you.
And suddenly, looks like very much possible.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god, it's not
Never
even
mind.
possible. Hot sauce. What an opportunist. Oh, timing? Barely.
So as I mentioned, right?
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this barely gets off. That's about it.
Grounded.
Because the way that Secret play and approach their takes, it's usually hyper funneling all the retakes using their smokes, right? And then try to play off that default with or at least complementary lurk potential on the side of Borkum, on Dispenser. Without those smokes late in the round, I feel like that's where they kind of show their mortality.
Where are you?
Knowing Secret, they'll adjust as quickly as they can. Speed is the name of the game. It isn't speed that kills, though. It's the sudden stop. So if they run into a brick wall here, much like Brain Freeze, could prove to be incredibly problematic. Xavi adds another brick to that wall. And as this is looking perilous already for Bren. A fragment might try and flush out Freeze, but Dispenser finds him anyway. Xavi, the lone man on heaven, trying to wait for the rotations on his team to come. Dubstep is so far removed from Dispenser, but this Wonder Duo has done so much in the past. This is still very much possible, but with Dispenser's location being revealed, at least an inkling of it, what else can they do? Still a very, very healthy Bren lineup.
Ooh. Oh, okay. I was wondering, so Xavi heard the dropping of weapons, so he just tries to pop that through again. This is very risky for Dispenser, by the way, but I think he needs it just so that Dubstep can start to reclaim that spike of his. With 40 seconds onto the clock and no vision for Bren, they can maybe run this all the way through the B site.
Wow.
I mean, maybe not. It's a 4 versus 2. They would want to just fight where they're already at.
30 seconds
already. We'll see how this transpires. Oh, that's a big flash. Missed flash on Savvy's side. Crossfire is going to be real. Dubstep somehow just wide swings out into the open and gets caught. So, a bit awkward. And Bren, they're building up the blocks of a comeback. And they're using those blocks to climb back up in terms of the rounds itself.
They're trying to... I think they were trying to set up a crossfire, but the timing was just not meant to be. The Manpower is definitely in the advantage of Bren in that previous round. Now we see still an equal buy. Secret, they're contemplating. See who can and who cannot. Their ecos have been fairly successful. You mentioned earlier that no matter what round they do, and no matter what weapons they have, they still try to manage to get 4. But since Bren has been turtling so hard, how do they open this up? That does look like aggression might be the name of the game yet again. Tempo change is not in order as Dubstep gets rid of that turret. Thankfully for him, he has an escape tool, but Borkum is not as fortunate. EJ and the rest of the boys, they're once again dismantling this eco round, making it relatively cheap for them and relatively compact for Bren. And it's suddenly 11-9.
Well, don't we look like fools for saying that this is going to be hard for Bren, you know, to come back and everything. I'm pretty sure Ishan, wherever she is saying, ha, Asaray, you're wrong.
Yeah, Sarai, you're wrong.
That's it. Well, you know, I admit, it's a very, very close endeavor. I really love the adjustment here. I think it did start to shift change in the favor of Bren once EJ got that operator. Because you see him just match the aggression, if not even more aggression, to what we saw from Blitz when he had the operator on the defensive side. Exactly, he just jumped up.
And they lost Borkum again.
Yeah. Oh, they also, I believe, used Savvy's Null Blade so that nobody can actually react with a utility and punish EJ. So that was a raw peak that EJ actually had the advantage because he had the dash up and prepared already.
Without the controller, it's a contact play. They really have no choice this time around. They still have the flashes from Dispenser and they still have the utility that Vash provides. But with all these angles open, it's going to be so problematic for Secret unless they find a stray rotator. But the timing has not been kind. The positioning and as well as the map control is the same. It's really not in the favor of Secret right now. Bren, they are once again very, very calm in this round. They don't have to overextend whatsoever. They still have so much utility. Nearly gets a freebie. The dash is going to come for that switch. But this could be a moment where Secret could pounce on them. They're not going to be fighting full force Bren. I don't even know if they're aware that there's 3 people CT. Now EJ is going to make it known. And Bren collapses onto Secret. As Secret is crumbling on this first map.
No flashes left from Dispenser to help out Dubstep, who was trying to push through on Spawn. Well, I mean, I guess they weren't expecting the aggressive push, but you saw it, as you said, like 3 players of Bren there. If one didn't expect it, there's 2 more that could have reacted just in the nick of things. Symbol was almost getting flushed out, but they were so preoccupied of what was on spawn that they forgot there's still one at the site itself. Now Bren, solid hold, Team Secret, back to the drawing board, and yeah, that big gasp of air from Raph as EJ just peeked it out through A short. It was already looking dead into the sights of Wits. How did Dispenser save himself from that? I would never know. EJ being forced to back away as Team Secret making sure that he does not readjust the angle on A short, as they would really want to hit B once again. Oh no.
EJ has been so slippery as an operative. It's been so rare for Secret to actually punish him, and you did say that has been the linchpin of their success. But Hot Sauce basking in that fragment will eventually still find Jesse. Borkum with the Spectre closes the gap and gets the trade. The site still not all that clear. Xavi is still trying to occupy the market space. And that's is to his own death. Now they have a rifle. They only have Freeze's paranoia and Shadow Step to rely on. But we have Symbol using that Hunter's Fury for a little bit of cover. Do they expect Dispenser to double dip, triple dips even, finds EJ, and now the scales Asarai, they favor Secret once more. All of a sudden, they turn around with such a, well, zealous effort. Brain Freeze and Symbol, they've been doing so well. Can they continue the streak? Dispenser makes his position known. Where are the trades? Nobody capitalized on that, but they're just playing time. And they played perfectly. Symbol turns his back for whatever reason. And Borkum has no qualms of shooting a man from behind.
Match point.
Well, you know, there are no niceties in tactical shooters. It is what it is. I gotta say, that sequence from Dispenser was absolutely brilliant. Because after this kill, I was expecting him to just run straight to speed lane, fast lane, activate his ultimate, and then start fighting. But because he knew that there would be absolutely no vision, no information for Borkum, rather than double up, he risked to position himself on to switch first to get a pick, and then just went in for another cheeky spot back onto the stairs. So whether he lives or dies, that would still be fine, but he still also had his null command up and running that he pressed on later dates. So its duration and impact was much better when the round was already at that particular point. That was so good from Dispenser. This is the reason why he's one of the top players back then, and you're seeing his veteran seed come into play now. Dubstep, huge shots onto EJ. That's a really big blow because EJ's already down to 12. He still has his dash, which is good, but he is, as you mentioned, one breeze away from being knocked off this round.
EJ has been providing so much impact and so much, how to put this, strength to Bren that every time he's died, it's almost a guarantee that Secret win. And Wits, with the space that they've controlled towards main, even blinding Freeze. Brain Freeze might not expect them to be this close, as the timing on the sound cue did cover up that dash. But he plays for quite a bit of time here. This is so dangerous by Wits. Oh my goodness, that's even worse. He wins out the fight, but he gets 2 anyway. Oh my goodness, luck is, aside from luck, the skill is so in favor of Wits as of the moment, but he gets denied. What? Oh my goodness, in Secret, they lost the round.
Huh?
Oh,
wait, he picked up the spike with the from the shadows. No!
Oh dear.
Ralph!
Oh dear! Look how isolated they are! But Hot Sauce doesn't care! He is on a march! He's on a mission! Dubstep is the first to fall, reducing the numbers to an even playing field. Now the attention has been put towards stairs here. What other avenue can they come from? A very compact, very turtle-heavy hold on the side of Secret. Jesse. The timing on Brain Freeze! It doesn't work out!
Oh. And now it's still 2 versus 3. I don't know what Bash was doing there. He needs to help out his team, but he is making a lot of noise that Hot Sauce has to just cover. As of the moment, Borkum and Bash come in for the swing, the 2K, as well as the game number 1. You thought it was already over. I mean, for Team Secret in that round, but somehow